do young people want to work for a faith-based company? And do they really know whether they do or not? I think they do. They may not realize it. In the United States, 80% of the population believes there's a God. 80%. And 60%, this is Gallup data within the last 2 years, 60+% believe the Bible came from God. Now, not everybody believes the Bible is, quote, literal. They might interpret the 7-day creation differently than 7 literal days. But more than half of the population of the United States believes this framework came from God. So if I'm going to work for an organization, chaos comes from not being aligned. And so if I've got to have internal alignment, my own desires with my own actions have to line up, but I've also got to be aligned with the people I work with. And I have to be aligned with the nation with which I live. My contentment, the quality of my life, whether I like it or not, is dependent upon how well I aligned with the infrastructures that exist around me, the ecosystem. And so if you work in an organization that has the clarity that comes from some biblical principles, at least there's some framework within which they're operating. Whether you believe in that framework or not, there's still a framework. And I mentioned before the power of the air traffic control system. You may think there's a better system, but you get on a plane trusting that this system works because there is a system. And that's what I would argue to the person who is not a person of faith. You're still better off being in an organization where you know what the leaders believe, and because you have some idea how they will make decisions. What's the alternative? The alternative is to work for someone where you have no idea what their values are and what they stand for, and you'll have to discover them as you go. So my argument to a person taking a job is to give more attention to what it is the organization stands for, what is their purpose. And I think you're seeing with the millennial generation and the generation after that, much more awareness of this. Kids today, I was talking to a woman the other day, and she said, my son really doesn't care how much money he makes. He wants to know why he's doing what he's doing. He's a 20-something-year-old, and I think that's to the credit of the generation that's coming up. They want to know why. And frankly, I don't see better answers than I see in Scripture.